Boo, everybody! Welcome back to the HabWrap. I'm your host, Harry Rice. You're listening to the friendliest and funniest source for anything and everything Montreal Canadiens. That is right. This is an actual question. What was that tonight? Seriously. I have no clue what I just watched for 56 minutes. How do you not beat the lowly Philadelphia Flyers, the one-line team? No defense, no goaltending. Starting your star prospect goaltender, you at least have a top six, and your worst defensive mistake is out for tonight. How do you lose to that? The frustration is really starting to kick in, and it's not pure. It's not just. It's not just the losing. It's how we're losing. We're losing these games that we really shouldn't be. We have a losing record at home. This team started out very hot. In our last 10, we are 4-5-1. This is not a Stanley Cup playoff team. I don't care what anybody says that, oh, we're 1 point back of Tampa right now. We're 3 points back from the division lead. Yeah, and if we somehow happen to get that division lead, we are losing in the first round. This is a team that does not have the consistency enough to make the playoffs. This is a team that is lacking severely in your bottom six. I don't care if Doc, Newhook are out. I don't care if Matheson, Goulet are out on the blue line. You should have a next man up mentality, and you should not be squandering a lead 39 seconds after you get it. You should never be trailing to the Philadelphia Flyers. You should not have come out of this game and almost get humiliated. Without the empty netter, this is a semi-respectable game if you just look at the score. It's the inconsistency, and it's the fact that Marty, after 3.5 years of coaching this team, has basically taught them nothing. If anything, we've almost regressed. This team went from, okay, they're at least trying, they're playing okay, even if they're losing more than they're winning, to, okay, well, we're winning, now we can play lazy. Now we can hold back. Now we don't need to worry about needing to win too many games for the rest of the season, because if we go 500, we'll be fine. And no. I really hope that Hugo aren't afraid to lose a guy like Josh Anderson or Brendan Gallagher, because I want Philip Deneau back on this team. He just requested a trade out of LA. His value is very low right now. I don't get what this team is doing. I don't get how this team plays right now, especially with the inconsistencies that they had. They had a really good game against Edmonton. They held McDavid and Draisaitl combined to 1 point last game. And then they come out tonight and they play like complete hot fucking garbage against a Philadelphia Flyers team that they should have beat, and they played great against an Edmonton Oilers team that should have dominated them. I don't get if it's because we play down to awful opponents and we play up to opponents that, okay, yeah, they're going to be a challenge, but I'm half expecting this team to play like shit our next game against the Blackhawks, and then play okay in the back-to-back against Pittsburgh. That's assuming we don't realize that they're frauds and they're going to be out of the playoffs by the end of the month, probably. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this team. I don't know if it's that Marty needs to be fired, which seems like the obvious option. I don't know if it's that this team is just still super young, but that feels like the easy way to put it. There is something wrong with this team that isn't just we have a lot of rookies. All right, let's get into the lines and shit, because quite frankly, it's the Flyers. This isn't gonna get many views anyway, so let's just get into it. The opening lines for the Canadiens were Caulfield, Suzuki, Bolduc, Slafkovsky, Kapanen, Demidov, Anderson, Beck, Texier, and Veleno, Evans, Gallagher. Hudson, Dobson, Jack-Eye Engstrom, and Struble, Carrier were on the blue line. Jacob Fowler gets the start net for the Canadiens, and Jakob Debesch will back him up with Samuel Montembeault not watching from the bleachers. He is sent to the AHL on a conditioning stint. He hasn't technically been sent down, but I guess due to his illness, they were able to send him down to get him games down there. If that is actually what happened, that's pretty clever that they realized that's how they could do it without waiving him, because no matter how many delusional Montreal fans want to say, he probably would get claimed, more than likely. But, of course, we shall see if it does end up going to the A. I doubt he does. Right now, I still probably think that Fowler is just a wee bit unready, unfortunately, after tonight's game. However, we'll get to that. The opening lines for the Flyers were Zegras, Dvorak, Konechny, Granstrom, Couturier, Tippett, Michkov, Cates, Brink. Yes, that's right. The elite fifth overall pick, apparently better than Ivan Demidov. Third line minutes tonight. Spoiler, because he doesn't play defense. And Delorier, A-Balls, and Hathaway were on the fourth line. A very, very grindy fourth line for the Flyers. York, Sanheim, Andre Drysdale, and Sealer, Ristolainen were on the blue line. Ristolainen playing his first game of the season. I believe his first game since... Is it February? I think he was out. Was it February or March? I know he got hurt late into last season, so... His first game in a long time, and... He was okay, I guess. I didn't notice him a ton outside of a couple shifts, but they're also probably managing his minutes, so he played all right, I guess. Dan Vladar will start for the Flyers, and Samuel Ersted will back him up. So for the first period, there's a Flyers shot from Sealer blockered away in the first 30 seconds. Habs get their first shot maybe 15 seconds later. Then there's a long-range shot stopped by Vladar the other way. The top line comes out. Bolduc gets boarded. There's no call. Caulfield has a chance, but that's gloved and held. Suzuki gets hit by Risto in the neutral zone. Zegras then rushes. The shot is wide and out. Off of a turnover a little bit later, Habs nearly have a 5-on-2, but the Flyers end up recovering there. Gallagher on a rush has a shot. He gets his rebound. The backhand is gloved by Vladar with Veleno streaking in. Habs press, but comes out of their zone. There's a good turnover to Suzuki, but a 1-on-3, bit tough to manage for most players, I would imagine. Jack-Eye has a good hit on Couturier the other way. There's a suicide pass to Slafkovsky. He is hit by Ristolainen in open ice. I would just like to point out, Gooley did that, 4 games into the year, and he immediately had to fight. Everybody wanted a piece of him. Slafkovsky gets hit, and nobody goes after Ristolainen. Zero fucking heart on this team. Demidov, actually, I should say, is the only one with heart. He goes after Ristolainen. He gives him a couple cross-checks. Risto, of course, is a pussy. He wants none of that. The Flyers go to a power play because, of course, they do. Demidov's called to for the cross-checks. Yeah, again, no clue how your offensive star is the only guy to go after Slafkovsky. I'm pretty sure it was Struble and Carrier on the ice for that. It might have been Hudson and Dobson. I know for sure it wasn't Engstrom and Jack-Eye, because Jack-Eye would have jumped Ristolainen for sure. But, yeah. Demidov is the only guy to go after Ristolainen, so props to that, obviously. Habs get a clear right away. Andy goes for a skate. He has a pass to Evans, who goes all the way back to Dobson in his own zone. He waits. He clears. That's a good 25-30 seconds killed right there. Flyers in front and have 2 chances. Kapanen with a good D standing by the side of the net for a potential wide open rebound. He would look to make that tough. Habs do get a clear. Evans then with a nice hit on Michkov. The Habs are 1-for-1 on the penalty kill. Habs press. Abels gets hit by Beck. Bolduc has a one-time chance, but that's completely wide. Demidov has speed. He was focused tonight. He has a shot just wide. Flyers press, and they'll get a power play with 6 minutes left. Carrier's called for a trip. I said a Carrier's called for a trip on Carrier. I meant that is Carrier called for a trip on Dvorak. My brain melted on that play for a second. That just sucks. Fowler made a good pad stop on a screen in front with a screen in front on Sanheim moments earlier. That's before the power play starts, I should say. Habs get a clear early. The Flyers do cycle, but a shot gets blocked out of play. Dobson clears along the boards. The Flyers eventually press. A good cycle to get free. There's a shot by Brink that gets gloved and held. The Flyers then press. There's a pad stop for Fowler. Habs are 2 for 2 on the penalty kill. Hudson goes up to Gallagher, who has a rush shot stopped. Flyers then ice the puck. Hudson has good dangling. Nice foot speed. Gets around a man. He finds Suzuki, but the shot is just stopped, and the Flyers then send it over the glass. They don't call delay of game because fuck the Canadiens, am I right? Flyers press. Dobson ends up losing his footing into the boards. He was thankfully fine. Wouldn't leave. I don't think he'd even miss a shift. Just one of those things. Habs off a turnover. They press, and we score. Alexander Texier. He's got a 4-game point streak all of a sudden. He goes over the shoulder of Vladar in the slot. Good shot off the turnover. Habs take the 1-0 lead with 59 seconds left. He scores from Evans and Anderson. Anderson, hopefully his last point as a Canadian before he's traded for Philippe Deneau. Suzuki gives the puck away. The Flyers rush, and they tie it up. Josh Anderson decides not to cover Carl Grundstrom, and he scores from Tippett and Couturier with 21 seconds left. A ball breaker of a goal for the Canadiens, and then a ball breaker of a goal for the Flyers. So, yeah, again, Josh Anderson is a cancer on this team, and quite frankly, I can't wait for him to get traded. It sucks we couldn't have done that 3 years ago when he was worth a first-round pick. So the shots are 9-6 for the Flyers, and it's a 1-1 tie game after 20 minutes of play. In the second period, the Habs ice a puck trying to get a stretch pass early. Fowler makes a good save on Andre. The rebound goes to Konechny, and he makes a save on that too. Habs then get a rush after a hit by Delorier. Demidov finds Kapanen off the post. The rebound goes to Slav. He's stopped by the pad of Vladar. Vladar had a solid game tonight. Up until the third period when the Canadiens just got nothing on him, basically. Spoiler alert. Habs get a look off a turnover, and they go to a power play instead. Couturier is called for an obvious holding the stick on Owen Beck. Beck's looking to the ref, and the ref's like, yeah, I'm calling that. Don't worry. So that was at least a little funny. Habs do clear twice off a Habs attempt to cycle. Habs press, but no shot. No one's getting open. Flyers get another clear. Habs cycle again, but the Flyers get a clear into the bench. Habs are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight. Evans finds Texier right in front, but that's stopped and goes out of play. And then the Flyers score. Bit of a bad pass by Demidov leads to a 2-on-1. Hudson tries to defend it. He's got no chance, and neither does Fowler. Zegras gets his goal. That is his 14th of the year from Konechny and Emile Andre. Shout out to Emile Andre. He was having a bit of a noticeable game for him. I see why Flyers fans like him. Habs look to tie the game right back. There's a bouncing puck from Evans to Texier. The shot does get stopped. A loose rebound is there, but Evans just isn't streaking in to get it. That sucks. The Flyers do ice the puck, though. Habs dump the puck in. A lot of dump and chase for the Canadiens tonight. It's almost like fucking Alex Burrows is back behind the bench, and god damn it, anyone who used to watch the live streams when I was doing those instead of the podcast know I hated Alex Burrows as our offensive coach, as our power play coach, and well, quite frankly, we couldn't fire him fast enough. So fuck Alex Burrows. Yeah, Habs get a shot. There's a good eye by Fowler. The shots were 3-2 for the Flyers at the halfway mark. So yeah, not a ton of opportunities. Texier's in line with some passing. Texier in front gets stopped. Texier had himself a pretty solid game, I thought, and I think that it's good to see him clicking in Montreal. I think he's a good third line guy. It just wasn't working in St. Louis because, well, quite frankly, nobody works in St. Louis. So glad to see that he's showing his NHL career wasn't sabotaged by the Blues, and he is in fact still half decent. Zegras gets hit shoulder to shoulder by Gallagher. The Habs were all over Zegras tonight for some reason, especially Josh Anderson. We'll get into a couple things that happened. But it's really weird that the Canadiens were really targeting Zegras. I don't know why. Habs get a break pass to Gallagher. The backhand chance is stopped. Veleno has a shot gloved and held by Vladar. Carrier gives the puck away. The Habs do manage to recover. Jack has a good hit, and he didn't even mean to throw the body on that one. Habs do try to press with the top line. There's an offside that gets called. There's a rush for Bolduc. He has a chance, but just no puck luck for him. He just did not... He's not good at home, firstly, but he also just is not getting puck luck going his way, unfortunately. Habs do luck. Habs dump the puck in. This is where I said that system doesn't work. Flyers press. Hathaway takes a shot at Fowler after a whistle. That gathers a little bit of a crowd. Caulfield has speed. He breaks in. He goes to Dobson, who centers for Suzuki. Off the post and out of play. Damn it. Anderson nearly gets on a break, but he doesn't have the speed. This is where our stream glitches for a second, and when it comes back in, Fowler's got the puck behind the net. No one communicates with him. No one grabs it except Konechny. He ends up centering it for Bobby Brink. Sorry, no, that was actually Michkov, actually. No, I don't know why I put Konechny in my notes, but it was Michkov, actually. He picks it up, centers it for Bobby Brink, and he makes it 3-1. That is just horrible for the second line and Dobson Hudson to just not communicate where to pass that out. So with 50 seconds left, a 3-1 Flyers game. That sucks. The shots at the end of the second are 18-10 for the Flyers and a 3-1 lead after the second. Yeah, you heard me right. 10 shots for the Canadiens after 2 periods. To be fair, they just weren't fucking hitting the net. If they were hitting the net, the shots probably would have been 18-14 or 18-15. They would have been semi-better. Not fully great, because you want to be out shooting the Flyers. But they still would have been okay. In the third period, the Habs do get a bit of rush. There's a second-line chance for Demidov after a Svechnikov chance is blocked by Emil. Anderson has a shot, and of course, that's way wide. He then gives a shove to Zegras at the line. Andy lays a big hit on Sealer. Sealer wants to go. Andy doesn't want to. Flyers end up icing the puck off of a draw. Hudson with a really good shift. He has a shot, but that goes off a stick. He dangles around a man. Slav has a one-timer. Slav has a one-timer. The rebound goes to Suzuki. A very good stop by Dan Vladar. There's another chance he centers a feed to Kapanen, but that shot is also stopped. Again, Vladar had a very solid game tonight. I don't know if his stats are that good on the season. I'm actually going to look that up really, really quickly. Dan Vladar, if my internet wants to work, there we go. Yeah, he's actually playing pretty well so far. 2.41 and a 9.10. He's quite good after leaving Calgary, which... Weird. People usually get worse after they leave Calgary for Philadelphia, but I mean, I guess Vladar likes Philadelphia. Bit of a freak, if you ask me. But yeah, he's clearly playing good this year, and yeah, honestly, he deserved the game tonight. He was really the only Flyer that was better than a Canadian for the most part. Jack-Eye, good look for Evans. He has a one-timer, but that's stopped. Flyers then get away with having 8 men on the ice, because of course they do. There's a top-line press. Suzuki has a shot. Bolduc tries to bank the rebound off Vladar, but he covers 6 minutes in. Hudson tries to get a shot through. Slav has a screen after the whistle. He and a Flyer each shove each other. They don't go off. Remember this later. Texier has a nice deke to get around a man. There's a pass, and of course the Anderson shot is easily gloved to kill the play. Habs get some looks, but nothing much. Flyers end up icing a puck halfway through. Both teams push after a whistle. As I put, pushing after a whistle, Archers try to 2-on-1. I don't know what I meant after that, what I meant for that, but I think I meant Flyers go look for a 2-on-1. Caulfield, what? Oh, I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but... Oh, I see. Flyers try to 2-on-1 Caulfield behind the net, but Struble comes in to defend him. That's what I meant. Okay, I don't know why it autocorrected Flyers that time to Archers, but... I don't know, maybe I fat-fingered my keyboard and that's what it translated to. I don't know. We'll see, though. Habs try to get something. Anderson ends up hitting Zegras from behind. That's fun to see. He would be slow to get up, though. Hudson has a shot. There's a good stop. Dobson with a slapper and a rebound. Demidov just fans on the chance. There's a pass from Hudson to Suzuki, who then goes to Caulfield. The shot stopped in the slot. That sucks. And then the Habs go to a penalty kill. Gallagher's called for a high stick on Nick Sealer. He then goes after Sealer. You see on the replay, And actually, we had to go to the Flyers feed. Credit to them for showing this. They showed the behind the net feed, which is a perfect look at it. Sealer kind of lifts the stick himself to hit himself in the face. Gallagher ends up going after Sealer because of that. Very surprised that they didn't give him an extra 2 for roughing there, but fair enough. Risto also hit Gallagher and then didn't go in when he started going after Sealer, so Risto's clearly a bitch. Habs get a clear to neutral. Anderson goes after Zegras. They end up shoving each other, and after a whistle, they both exchange slashes. They would both go 2 for roughing. Just a reminder, earlier, they didn't call it, but late in the game, I guess you do. Michkov gives a puck right to Evans. He goes to carry it, but the shot is blocked. Habs get a clear. Michkov with another giveaway, this time to Veleno. He goes in, but there's an eventual pass back, just killing time. Fair enough. Wait until you go back 5-on-5 and then hope to press. Kapanen has a long-range shot into the collarbone of Vladar. They, for some reason, blow the play dead. Flyers then press, but they don't get anything. The Habs are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. Flyers ice a puck with 3:26 left after some zone time for the Canadiens. Fowler's pulled for the empty net, and off the draw, there's a Hudson shot tipped just out by Slafkovsky. Unfortunately, this is where my Wi-Fi said, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're done for this game, because I missed the last 3 minutes, but assumingly, Canadiens try to pressure. They end up passing a lot. They don't get a chance. There's a puck that comes out of the zone. They come back in, no shots, a lot of passing. Eventually there's a turnover, and Travis Konechny scores. If I actually got that right, I'll be low-key a little happy. But Konechny ends up scoring from Dvorak and Couturier with 1:45 left. Assumingly, the Habs keep Fowler in for the remainder of the game. And, Flyers probably pressured a little bit. They just didn't end up scoring another one. Habs, unfortunately, would lose this one 4-1 in regulation. The final shots were surprisingly 22-21 for the Canadiens. They actually outshot the Flyers. The only period they outshot them in, 12-3. Yet they couldn't score one fucking goal. So yeah, they also lost the face-off margin, 67.2%. So there's that. But that is gonna do it for the game. That was genuinely an awful game. I have no clue what they were doing out there tonight. Again, that third period was the only semi-competent period that they played tonight. The first, they got lucky with the goal from Texier. That was a really good shot and just so happened to come off a turnover. Aside from that, up until the third period, there was nothing for the Canadiens. There was no pressure. There was no fight. There was no heart. Again, when Demidov is the only guy who goes in to defend Juraj Slafkovsky, just insane. I can't even say we need a rebound against Chicago, because at this point, a rebound would have to be a 3-4 stretch of playing good. You can't continue playing the way that you're playing. One good game, one bad game. One good game, one bad game. The Canadiens cannot continue this. I have no clue what the ever-loving hell we're going to do to fix this team. Like, when Newhook and Doc come back, that's going to help the third line a little bit. I'd imagine we might go something like Doc and Newhook with Texier. Beck probably goes back down to the A, I would imagine. If you're trading for Josh Anderson, for example, or trading Josh Anderson for Phil Deneau, I mean, that gives you good center depth, because then you've got Suzuki, Kapanen, Deneau, Doc, and Newhook who can all play center. Technically, Bolduc can as well. Texier, Veleno as well can, but... Evans as well. You have him. It's just a matter of where do these guys slot in. I'd imagine you move Doc and Newhook both to the wing. And then when Laine comes back, I have no clue. But just if you're trading a guy like Josh Anderson for Phil Deneau, that gives you an immense amount of depth. And it would be good for the team. I would like to see that for the team. It's crazy how just one move could help the team, at least at center. Clearly, we need the center depth. But there's no way it's just waiting for your depth to come back. There's no way it's waiting for your third line to become very competent again, so your fourth line becomes okay. Gouli and Matheson both being out. I mean, Matheson offensively, sure, hurt us, but like his defense, or lack thereof of defense, kind of made up for it, I guess. Gooley being out obviously still hurts the team. It's so tough to judge how this team can be because we have not been fully healthy since the 5th game of the year. That's the one where Gooley got hurt in. But at the same time, I think it's the same one Line officially went down in. But it's just so strange how this team can still play well despite missing these players. And then after a certain point, we're going to crater at this point. I don't know if it's because we had such an easy schedule to start that it made us look so much better than we are, which is probably around 500, a step back from last year, still respectable, but next year's the next step. And it took us into, okay, well, we're winning. We've got higher expectations for the team now. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's just this team genuinely gelled, and then when guys started getting hurt, it took a while for the morale to dip. But the guys are still there. They're still in the locker room. They're still with the team. They're not playing, but they're still seeing the team when they're at home. Like tonight, for example. I have no clue what the problem is, because you can't fire Marty right now. You're obviously not going to do it over Christmas. That's heartless to do. Like, the only thing I could imagine is maybe you do it in the Olympic break, like right before the Olympic break, right after the Canadiens' last game. You fire him. You let the guys have 2 weeks to get used to a new head coach. Like, maybe it's Torts. Maybe you hire Torts for a year and a half until his shtick gets old, and just hope for another good head coach to be available after that year and a half. I don't know if the deal is calling up Pascal Vincent, because he's playing well with Laval right now. Right to say he's coaching Laval well right now. I don't know if the solution is trying to convince Bruce Boudreau to come out of retirement. I don't know if the option is Pete DeBoer, who I feel like just got hired, but I don't think he did. I don't know if that's the solution. I don't know what I don't know the way to fix this team. If it's as simple as, okay, make a trade, or if it's okay to fire the head coach. Because Marty, while he's taught this team well through the rebuild, and sure, he was a Jack Adams Award finalist last year, I just don't know if it's Marty's team anymore. Like, I like Marty. He's a nice guy, fantastic player. It seems really cool. I just don't know if he has what it takes to make a Stanley Cup winning team out of this roster. And I recognize people said the same thing about Jared Bednar when he was first coaching Colorado. Oh, this guy sucks behind the bench. It's so clear he's here just for the rebuild. And now he's the best head coach in the National Hockey League. I get that it takes time for coaches to develop, like it takes time for players to develop. But after 4 years... 4 years, and there's this much stagnation. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be a solution, and I'm sure Hugo will figure it out. Hopefully Marty will figure it out. I mean, again, he clearly said something in the second intermission. They at least played a good 20 minutes, but my God, just no clue. No clue how to fix this team, but either way, that is going to do it for this episode of the HabWrap. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit the follow button if you're on Spotify or any other place like that you might be listening to this on. Don't forget to share the pod with anybody who you think might enjoy listening, such as a fellow Montreal Canadiens fan, a hockey fan who is looking for a Canadiens podcast to listen to, or somebody who you think just might enjoy listening to some fat kid from Quebec talk about the Montreal Canadiens for 30 minutes a night after every game. So yeah, again, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget, no matter how good we are like last year, how decent we are like this year, or how great we'll be in the future, go Habs go, I'm the Montreal, and say with me everybody, Celebrate!